To me, if something is developing, there will be a very volatile phase, and this is where we want to be in. 2 cycles ago, the volatility is a lot higher, and you don't want to wait until it doesn't really move. It moves like gold. This is where opportunity comes. I'm not happy because right now the volatility is not that high, and I think this also signifies many talents are coming in. 1 to 2 cycles ago, when projects want to launch or when they want to raise funds, they just need a PowerPoint slide. And right now, I think many of the projects, they have PhDs or they've got a lot of experience from the Web2 space. So the industry is maturing.
Joining me on Dealflow podcast today is Chung, investment partner at ArkStream Capital, an $80 million venture and liquid fund based out of Singapore. Now, they have invested into over 100 Web3 companies since forming in 2020. They are also one of the most active and consistent investments in the space. And what makes our guest really unique today is that he stands in this industry a little bit different from everybody else. He has an extremely unique pathway, and his road is definitely less traveled than most. Chung, you have started out in traditional finance, and you went into sort of banking, traditional banking, and also I recall that you were perhaps the only Chinese person that was working in African imports and exports. Later on, you also lived in Africa across Sudan, Nigeria, Egypt, Kenya, and also studied across 3 different continents, Europe, Africa, and also Asia. So I'm really excited to jump into today's story because now you are investing and also advising at companies building within the Web3 space on the most innovative, edge-cutting parts of tech. So welcome so much to Dealflow Podcast, John.
Thanks a lot. And thanks for hosting. I think I've been listening to your Dealflow podcast a lot, and been a pleasure. I think this space is getting a lot more interesting these days. So happy to share some perspectives, especially in terms of blockchain, AI, and some of my kind of past experience here.
You definitely do have a lot of experience. So why don't we just kick it off there with an honest statement from yourself? I mean, I just read a LinkedIn post that you put up 2 months ago, and you said crypto is not cool anymore. So this means that you started playing with crypto and discovered crypto when crypto was cool. And you even mentioned that you were living in China with no bank account, just spending crypto. So I want to know, how did you get into the Web3 space, and why is crypto not fun anymore?
Yeah, that was kind of a long story. But I think the first instance that I got into Bitcoin was during my kind of MBA journey in Nigeria. So I did my MBA in Nigeria. My roommate back in the days was a Nigerian, and he was doing a lot of trading with China and also with crypto. That's kind of how I learned about crypto. And I thought, so he was doing something related to money laundering, but I wasn't doing money laundering. So I kind of learned this is a very good technologies. If it's a good technologies, you can use that for a good thing or for a bad thing. And that's kind of how I got in touch with crypto. I think I've always liked things that are new, that are refreshing, that are innovative. That's why during my bachelor, I kind of got a scholarship to do some research in Sudan. I spent 6 months there, got a full scholarship to kind of research about poverty. And then later on, I also, during my master's, I studied in Norway. I worked in the largest bank in Africa, African Export-Import Bank. And the president of the bank is a Nigerian. So I got a chance to work hand in hand with him. And I watched a lot of Nigerian movies, books, trying to understand how Africa is really like. And then I really wanted to get to understand more. That's why I applied for the MBA. And I think these are all unconnected at first, but when I look back, I always love things that are cool, that are innovative. That's why I went to these kind of places. My roommate, when he told me about crypto, Bitcoin, I was really intrigued. And all of his friends were doing Bitcoin back in the days in Nigeria. So that was really eye-opening for me. I've never had such a real experience, kind of seeing people using crypto on a day-to-day basis. Even some of his friends is doing some Bitcoin fiat on-ramp, off-ramp trading business, and he made enough money to open a restaurant, which I went there. I think this is super cool, and that's why I started trading Bitcoin, and then I started learning more. And of course, I think we all pay tuition fees, so I lost all my money trading that. And then later on, I sort of one of the ways I always look for new opportunities is to reach out to people. That's why I also like Web3. I can talk to CEOs of like Double Zero, which you've interviewed, or CEO of any other big projects, or even CC in Binance. But in traditional world, if I want to talk to the CEO of JP Morgan, I can't. So I reach out to to the founding partner of a fund, which is ArkStream Capital. We had some chats, and then we feel it's kind of aligned. So I joined them, and I remember I have no money. I just come back to China, and even for the first month of rent, I couldn't pay. But I mean, the rest is history. I joined them, and I worked very hard. Within right now, I'm the only one that started as an employee and become a partner level within the fund. And even a couple of years ago, I bought my first apartment in China with crypto. So I just pay crypto to someone, and then they pay the house for me. And then I bought my last year, I bought my second car, a car that can dance with crypto as well. So I think crypto is really changing the way that we live. And when I was in China, I even when I was buying a meal. At first, I didn't have any bank account, so I just used crypto on ramp, off ramp. But of course, I think there is issues. Back in the days, a couple of years ago, it wasn't that developed. So if I wanna do it on ramp, off ramp, I need to find a platform and pay the crypto to that guy and ask them to pay for my meal. And the process take maybe 15 or 20 minutes, which wasn't that smooth at all. And right now, I think with PayFi, with a lot of stablecoin stuff, I can just use a kind of crypto payment card and other stuff to handle these things. So crypto is definitely improving a lot. And it wasn't as cool as before, because I think there was a religion, like when people are in the crypto space, I think uh, some people say they can't talk to people outside of crypto. I think it really means there was a religion, but I think a couple of months ago, something might have changed. Maybe it's because there are too many same thing happening, not radical innovations. But I'm still gonna say I think this is kind of a religion that I believe in, and until it is really dull, I will still stay for the friends, for people that I know for a long time, like MH Ventures, Cam, Garen, you guys. So I think this space is changing, but it's not cool. It's not as cool as before, but it's still pretty cool.
So, what does it take to bring the coolness back to crypto?
I guess uh money is very important, making money in this space. But when the focus is all about making money, uh, there will be a lot of side effects. Like, of course, people like we are all here to make something interesting or see something interesting. But right now, I'm seeing a lot of projects when they are making a project, they just wanna get listed on Binance, and then they just wanna sell. So, for instance, uh, there are some founders, serial entrepreneurs, they are building projects, and then they spend maybe 300K to do the marketing, go to market. They get some VCs to put their names in, which VCs are not really investing, and then sell to Binance as a kind of listing service. And then once it got listed, they just kind of sell it. So I think this is kind of a money making machine, but it wasn't the things that I was looking for when I joined the industry. I really got interested by Bitcoin. I think this is the best technologies. I was buying a lot of African clothes. I was uh, sponsoring some Nigerian students just by Bitcoin. I send them the crypto, and then they have the money. But right now, if it's just about building a project and getting listed, and that's the end goal, I don't think it's that cool. So I think we need to have someone who really still trying to make some real world use case. And I think that's very important. And also even in the bear market, I think one of the good ways for the industry to grow together is for people to go to conference, to meet likely-minded folks. I met a lot of people that has changed my life, that has changed how I see things. And I think this needs to happen again. But I'm sure it will happen. It's just that we need something new, something refreshing to come up, and uh, there is always spring and winter. And I think right now we're in winter, and after a couple of months or a period, there will be spring.
You have really described a lot about the crypto communities, maybe even cults at sometimes, but it is been a massive movement because it's a whole entire reshaping of the global financial systems, of the infrastructure, how the internet works, how money is sent, how people transact, how people play games. It's disrupted so many economies. It hasn't just been finance, it's also been apps, it's been games, it's been so many different seasons, and we've had, memes and all sorts of things. But sounds like I'm not too sure what year, maybe you can refresh us. What year was it that you were in Nigeria when you first discovered Bitcoin? And right back then, it seems like it was almost being used for what it was initially designed for, as a money payment, a transaction of value. Do you think now, fast forward from that time when you were using it in Nigeria and first discovering it for the first time, then using it to buy your house, has it lost its initial, not value, but initial idea behind it? It's kind of become a little bit intangible for most people. Like, where do you see as being like the most innovation within like the whole entire, I guess, Bitcoin ecosystem across your times of being involved with it?
Uh, so I did my MBA, I think 7 years ago when I was around 25. And so back in the days, it was very different, or maybe at least in Nigeria. So we've got some platforms on WhatsApp, so people are just trading on WhatsApp. There is no real trusted third party. The trusted party is really someone that you know. So you
Mm.
just pay them crypto, they give you the fiat. That was how it worked in Nigeria, and I think uh, fast forward maybe after a couple of years, or uh, there are some platforms that we've invested, like Sand Finance or other kind of platforms doing on ramp, off ramp. I think there is Coinmara. So people are trying to solve that issues, and that was one of the change. And of course, couple of years ago, or 1 to 2 years ago, we saw the hype of the Bitcoin ecosystem. First, that was ordinals. I remember I bought Audi, and then it went up 5x, and then people were very excited because of the opportunities to make money at first, and then people stay. So people come because they can make money, but they stay because they really learn about the thing and believe in the thing.
Mm.
And then the entire Bitcoin layer two. So people are thinking about using Bitcoin to get more yield, to make more money. I think that was really kind of how it evolved. So Bitcoin evolved from kind of an intermediary for just for payment transfer as a very raw form, to having a platforms uh, being a very trusted custodian, and then right now to using Bitcoin to create more yield and be a full banking service. We've backed some projects like Mezzo. I like them a lot. I think the founder Matt has kind of similar experience, and as I do, he was trading a lot of gift cards at first to make money, make small money, and then he realized this is really about Bitcoin, and then he bought his first house with Bitcoin. So he just take out a Bitcoin loan, and then he figure out no banks allow that him to do so. And I feel the same. That's why I also believe in this kind of using Bitcoin first as a payment technologies, and then as a interest generating asset, and at the end as some of the asset that you can also get some of the fiat in. So I'm also planning to do the same as what Matt did. I like what they are doing. So right now, if I go onto their platforms, I can put my Bitcoin in, get out a loan, just pay 1% of the interest, which I cannot get from somewhere else. And yeah, I think this kind of evolvement is really amazing. And I can foresee a future whereby Bitcoin is the really base layer or stable coin that empowers every transactions going forward. This is what I envision it to be, and I hope this will become true one day.
So, what you've described there is that people discover or a person discovers Bitcoin or crypto or blockchain technology. They maybe discover it because they're trying to get rich. Then they learn about it. They understand that, hey, this is actually better, faster, cheaper than what we're currently using. Then they decide to stay. That's the pattern that you've just described. So, what is your experience coming from traditional financial backgrounds, and how do people who are currently in that old, archaic institutional investment space, how do they start to see the light? Is it just with like legislation starting to change, or like how is that going to shift when we see, I guess, more capital start to inflow into the whole entire crypto world?
Uh, I mean, I heard about someone once said to me, uh, like here in the Web3 space, people are doing crypto, but in the traditional finance space, people are doing blockchain. So I think,
Mm.
of course, they are kind of the same, but they are not the same. Like at Allianz, back in the days, I think, 7 or 8 years ago or 9 years ago, I worked there, and they were already talking about blockchain. But what they're talking about is to build a chain that different banks can use. So it's kind of a public chain, and I think this is very different from what we, the crypto folks, are doing. And I think right now, previously, maybe a couple of years ago, Web2 institutions, they are still thinking about the technology itself on blockchain, how the chain should work, how it should transfer the data, or how secure it is. And right now, I see, of course, Canton is doing similar stuff. But in the crypto space, I think there was a gap. A couple of years ago, in the crypto, it was still mostly about crypto, how the money generating effects, how a chain can enable more financial stuff, or DeFi building on top of that. So crypto is more about finance and using some money to make more money. Blockchain, I think, is really about just the technologies. But uh, lately, I think it has kind of merged into a similar setting. So I was in New York a couple of months ago, and I saw many of the traditional finance guy and the crypto folks, they started to talk. And I think right now there are many things that they have in common. For instance, stable coin because of legislation. So people know a lot more about that. And then so crypto folks know it shouldn't just be DeFi, it shouldn't just be money, making money, printing out of thin air. And the traditional folks know it isn't just about blockchain, it's also about movement of money. So I think the things are merging, and I really like, for instance, what Canton is doing. They are trying to really bring a lot of traditional institutions. You saw Nasdaq, Goldman Sachs invested in them, really into the space. So I think this is uh, merging a lot, but there are still a couple of things that needs to uh needs to be changed. I think first is, of course, the cultural aspect. So right now, I think it's very hard for both sides to really communicate well. But I think this will be changed, and uh either from the top down or from the bottom up approach. But I think unless these kind of things change, it's very hard to see them merging. And also, I see some projects, they are also doing some amazing stuff like trade finance, like XDC, like IOTA. So they are trying to also merge into both sides. And even exchanges, if you're looking at that, like Binance, OKX, they are listing stocks. And Robinhood, they were traditional, they are listing crypto. So at the end of the day, there might only be one exchange which can be crypto or traditional, but they will be compete, they will be merging. So I think this is going faster than we think, but I wouldn't say they will merge within maybe in the near future. I think this will take time.
I agree. We need to break down the technical jargon, normalize the tech a little bit better. And I think that people will start to use blockchain infrastructure before they even know that it's even blockchain infrastructure. I like to make the analogy that I don't care and I don't really know how an email is sent, but I don't really need to know as long as it works. And I'm really looking forward to when crypto sort of merges with that, with the mass population. And say, for example, I'm doing it here in New Zealand, but I mean, I was speaking to my auntie the other day. I was showing her my paywave on my phone, and it was just like, I can just spend it like my Visa card. And she was mind blown. She's like, what's a stable coin? How do you spell that? And I had to spell it out for her. But I think we're starting to see things become a lot more easier. And I think the ramping is also a first step, in the stable coins being able to be used as easy as, fiat currency in our societies is a major step forward towards that sort of bigger adoption. So you also mentioned that we're in a bit of a winter season, and I think a little bit of hindrance towards mass adoption or towards people wanting to be involved or hear about crypto is it's just one of the most volatile assets that there is right now. I mean, look at it. We've just dropped down from 120,000 right down to about 70,000 within the space of a few months. And that is a lot of value to drop in a few months, and that's enough to scare a lot of traditional people away. What would your, I guess, lesson to those guys that you could tell them that you have learned throughout the bear cycles? You have been with Bitcoin for many, many years, or like the whole entire ecosystem, where you've seen it go up, go back, go up, go back. So what would be your biggest lesson out of these cycles? How you've weathered the storm, I guess you could say.
Uh, to me, if something is developing, there will be a very volatile phase, and this is where we want to be in. I think even 2 cycles ago, the kind of volatility is a lot higher, and this is just an evidence that this is improving. Now the volatility is very low, and you don't want to wait until it doesn't really move. It moves like gold. I think this is where opportunity comes, and at least I'm not happy because right now the volatility is not that high, and I think this also signifies many talents are coming in. I think 1 to 2 cycles ago, when projects want to launch or when they want to raise funds, they just need a PowerPoint slides. And many of them, they're just secondary school students. And right now, I think many of the projects that you've interviewed, like IONET, etc., all of them, they have PhDs or they've got a lot of experience from the Web2 space. So the industry is maturing and the volatility is a lot less, but you don't want to wait until it behaves like a real big asset. And I think the biggest risk right now of people is not to put any of their portfolios asset into crypto. I think that's the biggest risk. At least you should put 1% or 2% for the traditional guys. If you're seeing many of the nations buying Bitcoin, if you're seeing listed companies, I think they all know what is happening. And if people are still afraid, scared of the volatility, I think they will see maybe after this cycle or after 10 years, there won't be a lot of movement, but that wouldn't be a time that you want to come in. At least for me, or I think people in the space, they like things that are interesting, exciting. I think this is really the right time to come. And I wish I could be buying Bitcoin or I could know Bitcoin back in the days when it first got started. I think that would mean I grow with that. But right now, of course, I think I joined the space pretty late, but still, I think this is just the beginning. We are also seeing, for instance, Kyle Samani left Multicoin to do some AI stuff. I think Kyle is also kind of having this similar mentality. He is always ahead of the curve. That's why he backed Solana very early on. That's why he always took contrarian bets, unlike many of the VCs. Because for VCs, they like consensus, right? But Kyle always loved contrarian. And I think he's also kind of seeing similar stuff. He's seeing, okay, the industry has kind of matured to the stage that he wants to look for something new. And I think we are at this stage that it's still pretty new, but it's maturing and it's right now the best time. And I think when Bitcoin drops or pump, of course, it affects our wealth. But the most important thing is to really trying to ask what are we becoming, not what we are getting from this space. So if through these kind of drives, we are becoming a better person, we learn a lot more stuff, I think this is going to be very interesting. I see many of the like Bitcoin layer 2s or layer 1 protocols, they are doing something new. And I saw like prediction market, I saw the crypto space is always trying to make something up. But of course, we'll see which one can last, which one cannot. But right now, I'm still seeing many of the things that emerge, and I think, yeah, we need to still come. We need to stay and to see what is gonna happen.
Speaking of crypto worlds making things up, we're very famous for having different seasons, a DeFi season, a meme coin season, a gaming season, a prediction market season. Every type of season, everybody seems to somebody seems to create the season or create the hype or the narrative around the latest tech or what's going to be the best use of applications for blockchain tech. And then you tend to see a lot of people chasing that. Most recently, we've just seen it, I guess, that prediction markets are going pretty hot at the moment. I had a few others in mind that I can't quite remember, but it's perp dicks as well. They're going pretty hot at the moment. But like everybody I speak to seem to be, jumping onto that same narrative. So from your perspective, I mean, you speak with hundreds, thousands of founders pitching to you every single day. And I know that ArkStream Capital are like to find that killer app for that season. So looking forward, where are you looking for, or what would you like to hear from a founder come up and pitch to you, and you'll be like, "That's the vision. That's where I want to back." For you, is there a vertical, or is it just you haven't come across it yet?
Uh, I think there are a couple of things, right? To unpack on. I think the first is on the industry as a whole. Uh, there are always some seasons, and the difference is in the past when it was GameFi season, right? Step and people really believe this will change the world. This will be the future, and like people are playing around that, and they think, okay, this can really get a lot of Web2 adoption, can really be something that even in the traditional world people are using. But right now, what I'm seeing is people do not believe in this thing. Like meme coins, they just hold for a bit. Perp decks, maybe they just want to farm. I really want to see something that people can put their entire, they can all in, they can believe in something. If you're looking at CZ, when Bitcoin was dropping, he sold his house in Shanghai. And back in the day, Shanghai housing price has been raising every year or every month. And he really believes in something. I think we need some more people to believe in something or believe in kind of a narrative. I think this is one of the first thing. And when we are looking at projects in the early stage, right now, and the second thing is for us, as a VCs, we are not that smart. If I'm smart, I would be a founder. I think so. We can only see what people are building. And couple of things for very early stage founders. We really like founders that have new ideas and which they can come up with something new. We are kind of classifying incremental innovations with radical innovation. So if they are just building a perp desk with a small features, it's just incremental. But we want them to really come up with something new, something that excites us. So when it was DeFi or summer previously, we saw Aave, we thought it was so innovative. So we aped in. We were the third investor there. I think at the highest point we made 1000x return, more than that. And so I think if we saw something innovative that really can excite us, I think this is one thing. And then the second thing is we don't care the vertical they are in, because if you're looking at, for instance, Opinion Labs just got launched on Binance. A couple of years ago, they were not doing that. They were doing ticketing system, and then they pivoted first, pivoted second. We were back of EtherFi. So EtherFi at first they were building a staking protocol, and then they changed to restaking because restaking was very hype. And then restaking died, and Ransom died, but EtherFi, they pivoted to PayFi. So they keep on changing. So we don't care what vertical they build in, but we just care whether they are agile enough to know what is happening in the market and coachable enough to really lean in there. And I think the third thing is whether the team is professional. Like many of the projects that we talk to, if they give us update, or they really tell us what they are thinking. They get feedback regularly. We like these kind of teams because they really engage in investors. For instance, some of the projects, when they want to push a new features, they always talk to us so we can also see whether we can add some value. I think these are what we cares about. Yeah, so when we are looking at teams, I think doesn't matter what kind of vertical, as long as they are having some radical innovations and then they are professional, which means they kind of also update us from time to time and they can be agile to change. But in general, I think these are pretty minor points. I think as an industry, we really need to believe in something. And even VCs, we need to believe in something to invest in. So I think this is something that everyone's needs to do.
Yeah, having that true passion around creating something that's solving a true problem is sometimes a little bit lost from pitch decks or the founder or the team who is behind it. And ArkStream, you guys have bagged, I think, over five, probably more that maybe I'm not too sure of, but unicorns. So when you're looking at the, I guess, a pitch deck, somebody coming on, and this is a little bit of advice for founders because, again, there's probably a lot of founders that listen to this podcast that are just hanging out to have a conversation, to talk to you or get that first investment, right? And is there sort of a showstopper within the first 10 minutes of you meeting somebody where you're like, this person has conviction, this person has compassion, they've got a unique product? Like, how do they bring that across to show you in that really small amount of time?
Uh, I like to hear their stories of why. I think without a why, you can't like. I mean, how is none of your business? How is none of the founders' business? I think the why is more important. So, they need to be able to articulate why they want to build this thing, why is that important to them. I think this is really important and oftentimes missed because many times when we are looking at a project, maybe many people care about whether they have the product, whether they have the VCs. But I think the most important thing is about the people behind. Why do they want to do that? Why is that important to them? So within the first 10 minutes, maybe if not first 10 minutes, at least during the meeting, we wanna really know the rationales behind what is driving them because there will be some hard times. So I think that is one thing that maybe founders always miss. They always maybe care about showing the product, etc. But showing the product, you can just pay someone to build this, and it doesn't mean a lot. It means you have traction, you have something to show, but I think the why behind is also super super important. And also, I think there's another point that is very important is how they communicate. I think some of the founders so we want to speak with founders that are coachable. It doesn't mean we are better than them. We know something more. If we know, we will be building the products. But as an investors, if they ask for feedback, if they are trying to understand what our focus is, I think that also shows they always do the homework. So which is very important. I remember uh, talking to, for instance, say Jeff. He was very smart guy. But he also did some research about us and also asked some very smart questions. So I think it's very important to show they've done some homework, and at least it also shows they will be very serious about their projects. And I'll say usually within maybe 10 or 20 minutes, you can know whether the person you're talking to, whether he's done his homework and whether he really has the drive to build something or whether he just wanna wanna make it for a quick buck. And I think making it for a quick buck isn't a bad thing, but it's not something that we are investing right now because we are looking to grow with the industry for the long term.
I agree what you've just mentioned. They're having you don't want to be smarter than them. And then, like you said, crypto people are some of the smartest people that I've ever spoken to. PhDs from Stanford, Harvard, all of the great universities out there, studying the most technical, difficult things out there. So, but I think it comes down to that communication and being able to clearly articulate their what they're doing and why they're doing it within less than 20 words. I think that it comes out where they really understand the problem, they know what they're doing, they've forgotten about all of the technical jargon, and they can communicate that clearly to you, to me, to the mum, to anybody out there, and it's understood. And I think when that message comes across really clearly, it gives a lot of conviction to the investor. Hey, this guy knows the problem, they know what they're doing, and they can clearly communicate that. I think that is super key. So, talking of clearly communicating things, one of a popular narratives at the moment is real world assets and tokenization of them, because seems to me that almost anything is turning into an RWA very quickly. But I also know this is an area that ArkStream is interested in. So for somebody who has never heard of the term of real world assets and bringing them on chain into blockchain, like how would you clearly paint that picture to them, and why are you guys interested in them? When for it seems like that you can almost put anything onto tokenize anything. You can tokenize my hairband, you can tokenize fine wine, you can tokenize real estate, property, your cars, anything. But like, why does it bring value to tokenizing a normal like asset that we can touch in the world?
Uh, I believe this. So people are seeing tokenization as a concept, but I think it's just an extension from what has happened within when Bitcoin first kind of got started. So Bitcoin was really decentralizing kind of the access of finance to the world, and RWA is the same. They are just decentralizing everything that we can see in the real world to all the people. So I can buy a house in or a part of the house in Indonesia or in Dubai. I think this is really amazing because I can stay here, but I can get paid. So right now, for instance, I bought a lot of Anode from World Mobile. So which means I bought some access of the communication channels in Pakistan, and I got paid every month. I got paid $5,000 every month, and this is amazing because without going to Pakistan, I can get paid by investing a fraction of that into that business. And I think tokenization is closer to where we can see right now. Yesterday, I was talking to a real estate developer. I was trying to buy another apartment, and then they say they are trying to also package a lot of their house into a fund and sell it. I think this is a tokenization in the Web2 space. So they can package something as a subprime mortgage, etc., and make a fund. But in the Web3 space, this fund can be investable by anyone in the world. I think it's just decentralizing the access of making money to everyone. But I'm seeing many of the not wrong stuff, many of the interesting stuff coming up. Like people are tokenizing everything. Of course, I don't think everything can be tokenized, but I think the concept itself is very good. It's just extension of the entire Bitcoin narrative or entire Bitcoin concept, but it depends on how well or how bad you can use that. And we've invested in many of the stablecoin protocols, like Ethereum. We've invested 15 million in total, and right now they're also getting some of their treasury to have some RWA assets. And I think people don't need to understand RWA as you've mentioned, people don't need to understand how it works for an iPhone behind, but they just need to if RWA can be easy to use as people can do it with one click, I think that will be the time whereby it really flies. And right now, I'm seeing many of the interesting stuff coming up. So I can just buy something and I get paid. But I just know, oh, these payments come from the rental in Indonesia, rental income in Indonesia, which they are paying me 20% of the APY. So I think this is also something very interesting. And I don't even need to know this is called RWA, but I'm just investing into these kind of things.
How do you stay so on top of these unique opportunities? You've just mentioned one in Indonesia and a power company or a telecommunications company in Pakistan. They're very bespoke, and most people might not even know where to find this kind of information. Or is it more like people coming to you pitching around it? Like, is that what the access you get being in the unique investors seat, or is that something that you just spend your spare time researching around different deeper networks or whatever opportunities might be out there? Like, how do you find your knowledge for investment?
So most of these things come because I met some people. So I think uh in the conference or during some meetings, I met some people, and then they just told me what they're building. I think at first when you meet some people, uh there is the energy matter, right? The secret. So people's energy they can transfer. So I met some people. I think they've got good vibe, good energy, and then I talk more to them, so I know what they're building. And usually, they will also introduce me to some of their good friends. And I think they are always the average among five of their best friends. So likely minded people are always coming together. So they just bring some new stuff, and then I just get to learn. But I think that is the first step. So you met some people, later on you build a relationship, and then they bring some good opportunities. And then the second thing is you also through these you research their competitors, research what the space is, and then you get to know more. Like for instance, World Mobile, I met them during East Denver. I remember Emmanuel, he just came up to me, uh, and then because he stayed in Shanghai, China for a year, he's from the US, and then we just talk, and then we never talk about World Mobile, but then we talk about China, we talk about different stuff happening, and then later on we talk about World Mobile, and then I research on what they do, I research on their competitors. I think there are a couple of competitors, one in India, they're doing similar thing, and then one in the US, and then I reach out to all these their competitors, spoken with them, and then also spoken with World Mobile, so I get to kind of learn about their niche, their competitive edge, and then I built a relationship. So first, I just trying to help them out, not help them out. I try to add some value. I know they are trying to get Korean access, so I connected them with maybe 10 groups in Korea, and then they went to Korea, and then I just flew to Korea a day. So I flew there in the morning. I go back to Hong Kong in the evening, just to make sure his meetings go well. And then we became friends. He gifted me some of the Anode, and then I bought a lot more. And then he gifted me some of the eSIM that they're building. I use that. I think that is super good. So I become a real believer. So I think at first we just met, and then we have the vibe, and then I do research. I spoke with the competitors, and then we built a relationship. And then through that, I know that landscape also. So that was about that. And then, for instance, for the Indonesia pump, uh, that was also very interesting. So there was a Bitcoin project that I like a lot because the founder that I've mentioned, he has similar background. So I want to invest in them. So they were backed by Pantera, I think Hack, Multicoin. I think their previous company got IPO'd, and another previous company, TBTC, which is listed on Binance, backed by A16Z. So I traced them. I talk to them every day, and then they didn't allow us to invest. So I know they are in Dubai. Back in the days, 2 years ago, Dubai has a flood. So I flew to Dubai. Uh, I booked the hotel just a block beside them. And then I just walk through the water to meet them. I say, I come to Dubai for you. So they, at the end, we got the ticket we could invest in. And then later on, we built a relationship. I attend their dinner. I, uh, I provide TVLs. I provide half of their TVLs when they first got started. I met them in Singapore. I met them in New York, and then trying to know more about what they do. And then through their partners doing this kind of Indonesia renting, and I got to know them. So I think just build a relationship and just trying to add value and research on their competitors, so you will know a lot about the landscape. Because at first, they like talking to you because the vibe is similar, but at the end, they need to keep talking to you because you know something about them and know something about the space. Otherwise, they would think you are just someone that they can have fun with, but you don't know much. So if you research about the space, they will want to talk to you more. And I think afterwards they would like to also share some of the resources because you've created some or you've added some values to them.
Yeah, you've mentioned so much there, and the first one that I picked up was, like, talking about, like, the transfer of energy and how important it is to build trust with somebody in real life because this crypto world is very digital, very remote, very global, but when you sit across the table or talk to somebody and stare them in the eye, that's when true trust does form, and, then it's about building the history, and building history just takes time. You testing the product, giving feedback, giving research, giving value, consistently, and that continues to build the trust with those relationships. And it comes down to also like when I heard something was like, if you're using it, you should try to own it. So perhaps if you're using it as a SIM card or whatever, or if it's a house that you're living in, you should try to own it. So and all of the narratives I heard through there is like, yeah, you've been going over and above your own like yourself to be able to connect with these people when you see the opportunity, and you really put yourself out there to make that opportunity. And I want to dive deeper into a bit of your background around studying like human connection, and I think perhaps some of your understanding around human connection might come from having traveled so extensively over the world. You lived in Sudan, Egypt, and Nigeria, and it's all through Africa, also all through Europe, and also in Asia. And I'm sure you've been many other places that I don't know about. So I know that also you've got a strong affinity towards writing books, and I believe you're author of 3 books focusing on human connection and philosophy and all of that. So how does that vision of how you see the world transfer into your investing and how you create these advisory relationships, or are they completely separate? Is just your natural affinity towards discovering the world and seeking the opportunity to be the person to discover that part of the map the first? Is that something completely different?
I think I always like to understand how people in different parts of the world live or how they think, and that's why I went to Norway for my masters, etc. And then I met a lot of people that they could have not helped me, but they chose to help me. Like there was a difficult time when I was first studying abroad in Norway. I didn't know English, and during the Christmas, I was very lonely. Someone just invited me to their house, and so that was very helpful. And then I asked them, why are you so kind to me? What can I do to repay you? Because in my philosophy, I need to pay you money or need to pay you something. And they should say, if you want to repay me, just be kind to someone else. I'll just pass along. I think that really plants a seed into my mind. And that was what I'm trying to be kind, but of course I'm not always. I try my best. And then when I was working in Egypt, I met the treasurer of the bank. So he just say, okay, young man, come up to see me at 8 a.m. every day. So from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., we always talk not about work, but he's trying to be my mentor. So first day, I remember I come to his place. He asked me, Chung, who do you want? Can you imagine you are in your deathbed or coffin? Uh, and what do you think people will say about you? What do you want people to say about you? And I just say, I want people to remember me as the one who always help the others and who is always kind. I think that is very helpful. So he asked me to think with an end in mind because we will die someday. So he doesn't need to be kind to me. He doesn't need to spend an hour to talk to me. Just a small guy back in the days. So he has paid his time, and I also work hand in hand with the president of the bank. He's in the Forbes. He's a big man, and I just couldn't imagine why would he want to work with someone like me. And later on, I think some of them they told me I reminded him of them when they were young. So I think I always like to I have always been helped by the others, so I also wanna to help others to know things. And as an investor, is very good. So I can help, but I don't need to do the dirty work. So they do the dirty work, but I can just say what I've seen. Because I think a lot of the protocols, they know what they're doing, they know what they're building, they are an expert, but they don't know what is in the landscape, what their competitors are doing, because they are too buried within what they are trying to build. I was listening to podcasts of founders where Mark Anderson said the same thing. So I think investors can help by giving them advice on what we see in the market, even though we don't know how to build things, but we can give good advice. And so back in the days when I was writing the books, I just want to express my feelings, express the human beings that I've met that has changed my life. Right now, I'm still very thankful. Every time I think about them, and of course, they might just forget about me. Maybe to me, they are just trying to be kind, but to me, it makes a huge impact. And back in the days, I was trying to build a startup during my university, and I met someone. I tell them I have this dream, and next day they just call me saying, "Okay, I'll give you $5,000." I was just a student, so $5,000 was a lot to me back in the days. Of course, right now it's not. And for you to build your dream, for you to build this program to teach underprivileged students in Hong Kong, so I think I just need to pass that along. And I think it's kind of the same thought that I'm having with projects. And some projects, they are very smart. They know a lot more things than me, so I cannot help. But some of them, in some areas, at least in Asia, go to market, in knowing the landscape, in connecting them with the right person, I think I can, or our fund can add value. So that's what we are trying to do.
Consistently helping people, and I love that coming through the whole entire journey that you've been. And it actually even started before you were in crypto. It was like those foundations, I'm sure, perhaps even started when you were a younger kid. And now, one of your books is called Being Human. So I really want to know from your perspective, like, what does it mean to be human?
I think, yeah, that was so being human. Because uh, the idea was when I think about how do I become here, because I don't get to here because I'm better than the others. It's because others people has helped me. So I just want to write some articles about people who has helped me, how they are helping me. So I just from my memory, I just scratch and write stuff about that. And all of them no matter they are from Malawi, from Czech, from Norway, from Nigeria, I think they are the common thing about them is they are always seeing human beings as human beings, not as a machine. So they don't just see me as okay, another Chinese, another colleague. They just trying to see me as who I am. So I think this is very very important. And many of them they might not even know what I was going through because for instance when I was studying abroad it's very lonely first time, don't know about English, but they just trying to be very kind to me. I think that is very, very important. And I think a lot of them, they're willing to sacrifice their time to, uh, to sometimes it's just what I need, or sometimes some understanding. And so that's what I'm trying to write. But I also need to emphasize that right now, I'm not writing a lot of books because I think it's hard with AI. AI can write a lot of things, and I just give them ideas. I think no one is gonna read books. Maybe in the future, people are just gonna listen to podcasts. And even right now, if we're recording for an hour, maybe we just use an AI to summarize it in 1 or 2 minutes. People just want these kind of things. So I think we also need to change with what the world does, and people love your story. I think people love seeing your story of using AI to fish. They love these kind of things. So I think I also need to focus on these things rather than writing very long stuff.
Talking about the convergence of AI and humanity, it is rapidly happening, and there are so many different tools happening, and the way that people are using AI and the way that children are using AI is crazy. And then what I get a little bit concerned about is that it does reduce our creative and logical thinking because, for example, I can say, write me a book on what it means to be human, make it 50 pages long, 10 chapters, and I hit go, and within seconds, it just appears. And that gives me like an instant dopamine hit. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And I get all of this reward from doing nothing. And I don't really think that's um, productive because I wouldn't have had thought or wouldn't actually be my work. So what is your opinion on like the convergence of AI and humanity? And also I want to understand a little bit more around like the privacy aspect of that because that's a massive topic. I don't think that many people talk about or know about, and that all of the information that you're giving to these AI models, whether it's image generation or talking to it personally or your financials, where is this actually being stored, and like what are the big tech giants or the closed companies behind this actually doing, and then why does that make decentralized AI such an important narrative?
I think uh, in general, AI is changing the world, but there are a couple of things. I think quality relationships, real quality network is what it cannot replace. I think that is very important. So if we need to focus, maybe we don't focus on writing or we don't focus on small stuff, but more of the quality relationship. They can't guide you on that thing. And then I think also right now, people are using AI too much because of FOMO. They are trying stuff, but in terms of the AI, I can envision right now maybe the most useful case is making money in the crypto, using AI to make money, not to increase your productivity, not to save your time. Because saving time, of course, is very important. Many protocols are that we have invested in. They are trying to cut headcount. They can save people. I just talked to one another day. Uh, but I think trying to use that to make money is also is more important. And I believe in the future of the AI, there will only be very small percentage of the people that can use it smartly to make money. A lot of other people are just using that to save productivity, which is also good. But I think making money is and other aspects that have been overlooked right now. And also people having the FOMO about trying to learn on how to install OpenClaw or Whisper noise or other stuff. But with as what you have said, we need the user experience to be very good. So in the future, there will be some maybe one-click installment. There will be some very easy steps. So I think right now the best thing for us to really focus on is to think about how can we use AI to make more money or not to save money and not to focus our time on learning how to use the AI tools, how to install. I think that is very wrong. I think that is the first thing. And then secondly, I think the AI is still in the very early stage. Because when I talk to the AI experts, they all tell me right now many of the challenge of the AI projects is they are burning money to get users. So that's why we are seeing so many apps or D apps that are blowing our mind. But at the end, there will only be maybe a couple of them that stays. So if we wanna be effective, we can just use those kind of D apps once we know who the winner is, rather than just trying to switch to maybe thousands of AI protocols and feel we are lagging behind. Um, and lastly, I don't think we are lagging behind because for people focusing on quality relationships or human to human relationship, I think this is what AI cannot do. Unless AI can record right now what I'm doing with you, can record my thoughts, can maybe recall what I have talked to you the next time I meet you, I don't think it can replace. And on the privacy, I don't have a lot of opinion. I just feel uh, maybe some people care. Most people don't care. They just want convenience and whether these kind of things help. I think that is the kind of things that I know. But our fund is very concerned about AI, so every one of us need to use AI, need to learn about AI, need to give some use case. But I think still the focus should be using that to make money, not to just write report and save some of the small costs.
In saying that, you are recommending that people actually use AI to make money. Say, if there was a young person, a teenager who is just coming out of high school, what would you tell them? Like, is there a certain niche or a certain thing that they should be using AI to make money? Because I think, was it the CEO of Google just came out the other day saying that AI is going to make the next 1,000 millionaires. It's going to make so many millionaires over the next 3, 5 years, more than that has ever happened before. So is that people not installing tools for other people or trying to figure out how to install tools or which app is going to be the best image generator? It's more about creating a productive use of that AI. And how would you go about figuring that out?
Or if I figure that out, I wouldn't tell you, or I wouldn't say it. But I think the what people or what our colleagues or what we are trying to see is at least in the crypto space, how can we use that to trade or make something that other people are making money, so we're just trying to follow and to learn. I think right now to follow to see what other people's are using AI to make money and to follow their pathway. I think it could be the first thing because there is always a catch up phase. So maybe if we saw one business model is making money, we just follow them, and then maybe we can make money for the 1 to 2 weeks, and then maybe once a lot of people follow, it's very competitive. We can't do right now, for instance. Like in China, people are scrolling TikTok a lot. And China TikTok is called Douyin, and people are selling stuff there. So if you make people scroll and you sell stuff, you can get a lot of engagement. And the most people who are commenting or engaging with these kind of videos are people who are in their 40s or 50s. So I think the focus should be on these, and we are also trying to look into that kind of aspects.
I've seen some pretty crazy TikToks now. I'm not too sure if they're true or not, but it's like some massive big factories in China running their little Mac Minis or constantly having like a phone recording a pretend like a virtual live stream just to create business. It's been like crazy seeing some of what people were doing behind the scenes. And also, I've heard that a lot of the traffic, a lot of these views are actually just bots. So the bot like brings up the views, which then generates or triggers on to generating the organic views. But I suppose those myths will probably remain unsolved. Now, a question for you is, do you think that blockchain was almost made for AI? Because it's a way that AI can communicate, it can transact, it can give them ID, and it can let them work autonomously around the world. Is the synergy like the perfect marriage?
Mm, I think blockchain or crypto was at first made for money. Uh, if you're looking at Bitcoin, that was what it is. And then DeFi, I think DeFi was a very native use case. And then stablecoin, yield bearing stablecoin. So all of them, they are made for money. And blockchain is made for money. And then with AI, it is also a good use case. People are always saying AI agents they don't have bank account. That's why they need blockchain. It's verifiable. It's decentralizing the access ownership, and I think these are all valid arguments or valid reasons. But I just think even if you're thinking about giving AI agents access to bank account, I think it can happen in the future. So I wouldn't say there is something made for something. I think blockchain is made for money or crypto is made for money. But AI, there could be use case, but I don't feel right now there is a very, very strong or perfect fit. There is some fit, of course, verifiability, decentralization, but I think we still need to see a more other use cases or other better use cases until we can say, okay, blockchain is really made for AI. I think we are not at that stage yet, or maybe we haven't seen something like that yet.
Still very new and discovering where that relationship fits and if it is a all AI should be on blockchain or not. I think that's sort of a little bit of the debate. But yeah, I agree. We're not um, out of the murky waters on that debate just yet. Now, I always want to bring it around to today's last question. Thank you so much for joining me. But I wanted you to reflect back to the younger version of yourself, the younger 17-year-old version of yourself. And now, given all of your experiences, all of your world travels, all of your different career paths and relationships that you've built across the world, and the knowledge that you've gained, what would be the message that you would send back to yourself?
Uh, yeah, I think one of the main thing that I always trying to tell myself is always just not ask for something in return, just ask what I'm becoming. I think if I say back to the younger self, just uh, I'll just tell him to, when I evaluate every choices or every options, every things that I take, just trying to ask myself what I'm becoming. Because there are many choices that many things that I can do, but I think we shouldn't look at the immediate benefits. So, for instance, when I'm investing in something or when I'm uh, trying to help out some portfolios. I'm not asking what can you bring to me. I'm just asking, can I learn something? Can I add value? I think that is also very important. Even in life choices, I bought my first house in Chongqing. I didn't know this place. I've never been to here. I just saw it's cheap, and I just come here. I bought, and then I met my wife. So I think life just unfolds, and even in the crypto space, I didn't know. I just thought it was very interesting. Back in the days, I started with zero, 26-year-old or 27-year-old, and then I couldn't imagine if you asked me when I was 25 or 26, starting with nothing again, and I can get to the area today. I couldn't have imagined, but I think during the process, I learned a lot, and through adding value to the others, I get to get a lot more. I think the growth is really exponential. At first it's really hard, but uh, afterwards it's getting easy. And same, I wouldn't say blockchain is the only thing I do. Maybe if this space is becoming very boring, we'll focus on other space. But I think the mindset, the people, if the people stay, I think this will grow. So if, for instance, you are here, many other people are here, and I think this will make me become a better person. I can learn a lot more things. I think this will be good. So I think I'll just tell my younger self, just go for something that you think is gonna make you become a better person, or just go for something you think is interesting. I think this kind of energy they'll always tell you, because if you see something, if you feel that's interesting, it's your mind telling you this is the thing that you should be doing.
Very wise words, and follow your gut, and that's exactly what your journey looks like you've done. You said you've traveled over the world and gone from one height to the next height, and it's been so awesome to talk to you, and thank you for sharing your story today. I'm sure a lot of people can get motivation and inspired by everything that you shared here. So if they wanted to connect with you or follow you, how is the best way to do that?
They can follow our fund's Twitter handle, arc and underline stream, or my handle, Chung the ogre. Yeah, the ogre means boss in Nigerian language. But yeah,
I was thinking Shrek, and that wasn't really making too much sense. No, cool, awesome. Thank you so much. It's really great to have you share today, and we'll call it a wrap.
yes, thank you, Miss AI.
Thank you, John, the ogre.